Good morning, folks. What's today's topic? Well, today's topic, we're going to talk about tools, other tools that you use in relation with your anvil. And I had a comment where somebody texted me, hey, I've made some of these bending tools and some of the things that fit in that hardy hole or that pritcher hole on your anvil. Now, if you don't know about the holes that I'm talking about, it's a square hole and a round hole on an anvil. And you need to go back to one where we discussed the anvils and I showed you a picture and described you all the parts. But we have different ways of bending metal and we use different tools to do it. I'm going to change the picture in a minute. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about and give you a little guidance here because somebody said, well, I get too much wobble, so the tools aren't really useful, even though you showed us how to make them. And I said, okay. I said, well, there's several different ways. I mean, you can approach fixing this, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. One comment is, what does the picture have to do with anvils? Not much, but I like the picture and I threw it up here for my intro. So I'm going to take it down. I'll throw up the other pictures and we'll get into the discussion. So no long intros. Here we go. Okay, so right here I've thrown up some pictures of some of these tools that you can use for bending, for pounding, twisting, doing all kinds of stuff. And you'll see the picture up here on your left. It shows you a couple of variations on how you can make these tools. On the upper right, I showed you how you can use your welder and you can use just round stock, something that you can find out in a scrap bin out at one of these steel supply stores that cost you like a quarter or 50 cents for some of these small cutoffs. And the guy out there is like, what do you use this for? He goes, just take it. I don't even want anything for it. And I'm like, well, I make other tools that I can use to bend metal and to do different things and make it into different shapes. And that's what I do with them. And then, I throw them in a box. And sometimes when I make them, they don't come out the way that I want to. I throw them out. It was scrap metal anyway. Other times they come out and they will work for an intended purpose. And I have a box on the bottom shelf of, where my MIG welder is. And that's where I keep these. And they will fit into those pritcher holes or those hardy holes, depending on if I used square, round stock or what I did. So the question is, hey, what do you use? And I go, well, it depends. I mean, I use any number of different things that I've made. These are just examples I pulled off of the web. Now, the bottom right shows you a simple one that is just made out of a piece of steel, round steel, and welded to a piece of square steel. The one on the upper left, it's the same thing, just a different variation, okay? So you can make them either way, and it's good after you heat the metal, you put it in there and you just start to bend it, and you can create that bend that you want. But the question is where that shaft is that slips down into that hardy hole or that pritcher hole. I'm getting way too much wobble. I mean, how can I correct that? Well, one way is you can put a bead of weld up and down each side, then grind it lightly and keep dropping it in the hole till you have a snug fit. Now, I have a couple pieces I've done that with. It works really well. And you just have to play around with it. I just put like a bunch of weld on there. I use my 4.5-inch grinding wheel with a flap disc. I start taking it down a little bit on each side. I drop it into the hole again until I get that real snug, tight fit. Now, there's a couple of other ways of doing it. So let me tear down some of these pictures. I'll put up the others and I'll show you what I mean. One moment. Okay, so let's take a picture. Let's take a look at the picture up on the upper left. And you can see where he's beginning to drop the tool down in there where he's made a sleeve. And the one on the right of that shows you an enlarged picture of that sleeve before he's dropping it down into that hole. Now you can sleeve these, leave them in there if you have a whole bunch of square, shafts that are the same size. Now that will work. And he just used a piece of steel and just bent like a flared a lip on here, dropped it into the hole. And then all of his tools maybe have that same size shaft. So then as you drop them down in there, you have no problem and they tighten right up. So that's method 2. Method 3, which is more like the redneck method, involves using tape. Now, this is just black tape. And so what you can do is keep wrapping it around that shaft. And I've done this and I still do this because it's fast, it's easy to do. And I drop it down into that square hole or that round hole until it fits super, super snug. Once it does, it's not going to move around on you. That will solve your problem of, hey, how do I stop the movement whenever I'm using these tools or I'm getting too much movement, as the comment was, and I don't feel that the tool is going to work for me. Well, all you have to do is use one of these 3 methods to shore up that shaft and you're home free. This is your quick tip of the day. I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you click subscribe, and I'm going to see you on the next video. Thank you folks very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.